and focus your mind to this bell sound. So while you following the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing. And if it is possible, please gently close your eyes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So dear Dhamma friends, before we get into practice, I will give some guidelines that when you practice yourself, I hope that will help for you. So when it comes to practice meditation, and you know, it is not something we're not trying to get something. So that is something you have to keep in mind. So we're trying to release ourselves, that our thoughts, our views, and our deeper desires. So when it comes to that in the beginning, before we get into that in the beginning, we have to calm down the mind, because without calming down, we cannot take out anything. So it's same like anything, that if you want to clean something, if it is movable, if it is always moving here and there, you cannot do anything. So the very first thing, you have to allow it to settle down. So the mind the same, always it move with the past and future, it always go here and there. So in the very first level, we trying to bring our mind to present moment, one pointness. So you giving a primary mental object to your mind, and then keep the mind with that. So if the mind go here and there, because the very nature that unconsciously sometimes the mind always moving. If you see that, you bring it back. So, and again, try to do it whenever you see it. Otherwise, intensely, don't try to go with whatever the things happen in the past or whatever that regarding the future. Make it very simple and make it very basic. So that's the important thing with the tranquility meditation. Make it very simple and make it very basic. So the basic, very simple thing is, when you give the primary mental object, so try to stay with it. So here we take as our primary mental object our own inhalation, exhalation in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And when the inhalation happens, through the sensation, you recognize it as inhalation, not by visualizing, not by make anything happen the way you want, not interfering to its natural process. When the inhalation, exhalation happens, there is a sensation arise. So through that sensation, you recognize it as inhalation, it has an exhalation. And sometimes you cannot, maybe for some, you cannot maybe get the sensation. You don't see it in the beginning. If you don't see, Don't try to make it happen. Just allow it to appear. It's going to come when the mind settles down. Only thing is, be patient and then put your attention. Stay there. Learn to wait. And if you see it, and you're going to recognize. So if you don't see it, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just you keep observing, keep observing, keep observing. It kind of like sometimes it like you watching a river, or you go to ocean and you watching the waves, and you're not interfering with its nature. You just observe and you accept it. So the same thing with the inhalation, exhalation. Just allow it to. That is one of the very difficult part for us to do. Without interfering, just allow it to happen. So we developed two meditation techniques: tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation. So in the tranquility meditation technique, we take inhalation, exhalation as our primary mental object. So then always you have to be mindful to keep your mind focused to inhalation, exhalation, not any other condition about the mind. Always remember to see the inhalation, exhalation. So when the inhalation happen, recognize this is inhalation, exhalation happen, recognize this is exhalation. And when you keep observe, your mind little by little, going to settle down. When the mind settles down with the inhalation, exhalation, sometimes it becomes familiar. And then you feel sometimes lazy and you feel kind of sleepy. So then you have to bring the effort inside you and use to observe deeply. So in then the second step, observe. This is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. So knowingly from beginning to end, observe the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. So it's like seeing the entire breath body, the whole process, one inhalation, one exhalation. So, and then when you become more familiar with it, see some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. So like that, it has a different nature. Each and every inhalation, exhalation different. And just recognize it. So this will help you to calm down the mind. So we get the help out of the inhalation, exhalation to calm our mind and bring our mind to the present moment. How the inhalation, exhalation can do that? Because rather than thinking to being in the present moment, when we observe and follow the inhalation, exhalation, why our mind come to the present moment? Because only in the present moment you can experience the inhalation or exhalation. So then naturally you're going to be there. So once you tranquilize your mind, once the mind calm down little by little, once the mind settle down, it becomes a little bit more comfortable and easy. And then there is no effort to hold it without going to past or the future, and completely become relaxed. And then naturally, without any effort, then naturally the mind going to be settled down. So it's like sometimes when you take care of newly born babies, you always watching that where if baby go here and there, and sometimes you put certain things covering the door or close the doors, and you put a frame, and without that the baby cannot go away. So like that you do many things, and you watching. So in the beginning you practice the same, but in a certain time when the child become matured, and then you say stay here, and then the child going to be there. And even in your mind you have the peace that child not going to make any disturb. So same thing, when you practice little by little, your own mind start to recognize and not to make disturb, not to go here and there, it's going to be in the present moment. So that's the tranquility state. In that tranquility state, you can develop the absorption, first absorption to the fourth absorption, and that the dhyana or high mental powers if you develop that tranquility state. But our purpose is getting to the wisdom path. So this tranquility meditation we use only to settle down the mind, not to stay there, not to experience the calmness, not to experience the relax, because this calmness, relax, even though it in a conventional life it is important, if you look very deeply, this calmness doesn't make any sense. It just eat our time. Just being relaxed, being comfortable sometimes, and start to resist the outside things. So that's why that wherever you are, settle down with calmness, it's not going to be forever. So then it is better you invest rather than enjoying that calmness, tranquility state, you invest it to gain the wisdom. So our ultimate goal is achieving to wisdom. So then when it comes to vipassana, so now slowly, little by little, we observing the inhalation, exhalation, we settle down the mind. Now, once you know the mind settle down, your body, your breathing, your thoughts, your mind, everything settle down to one point. And from there, and another thing is, for person to person, sometimes experience difference. But I just give overall introduction for everyone. In case if you experience these things, you can go with it. It become very easy. Otherwise, you no need to exactly follow this way like that. It's a maybe sometimes in the beginning you see long inhalation, short inhalation, and sometimes you can see the entire continuation from beginning to end. It different person to person. So from there, once the mind settle down, and then you go to vipassana level. In the vipassana level, it is different. So in the vipassana level, you have to drop your primary mental object. That means you drop the observation of inhalation, exhalation. And then you have to see when the inhalation, exhalation happen and how you experience it, how you recognize it as inhalation, exhalation. That is where you meet the pain, feeling. So you have to go with the feeling and recognize and observe the very nature of the feeling. So the feeling come as a result of your mind. And now when you recognize the feeling means you receive the mind. And feelings arise, sensation arise, formation, thought arise, and then the cognition arise. So this is the pattern of the five aggregates. Form, feeling, sensation, formations, consciousness. So now you're not focusing to the very nature of the inhalation, exhalation. You completely observe the mind. That means in the beginning you don't know what is mind. But basically how you can catch the mind through the feeling. So then when you observe the feelings, it will help you to see how the feelings change. And just go with it. And then little by little, when you observe what's happening, you able to get the mind as independent entity. That's the important point in Vipassana. Remember that. Nothing related with the past, even nothing related in this very moment happening in the outside world. Like far away there is something happen, no sound happen, no maybe that the that you if you open your eyes, you see something or anything. It is that what is the the inner experience. So in this very moment, your mind become totally independent from perceptions. So you are not dealing with the perception, but you are more recognizing the very nature of the inner experience. Of course, the perception happened. That's why that you feel the feelings. But you're not going to get into the details like inhalation, exhalation, long, short, heavy. So like you don't go to that in. You just recognize how you feel it. So what is happening to you, not what is happening to inhalation or exhalation. So in samatha, when the inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold, you recognize what is happening to the inhalation, exhalation. So that is the samatha. So you always go with the perception and then you recognize that. But in come to vipassana, you go with the mainly the feeling, sensation, formations, and how the mind change, followed by the sensation. So that is the difference when it comes to vipassana. And then again and again, observe the change and don't try to react, don't try to interfere with it, or don't try to change that pattern. And again, when you see that whatever you experience in this very moment, going to become different very next moment, and it's going to become very different in the very next moment. So then you have to be very careful not to create any comparison. Don't compare anything, just release. That is the power of the the ability that you gain when the vipassana. What is that? You able to experience something in that very moment. You can drop it without getting involving with it, or without getting attached to your own feelings, without having any kind of comments. You experience it, and that very moment you release it. Why? Because you see moment by moment the experience change. So that is a pattern you develop inside you. Whatever you experience in that very moment, without thinking related with past or the future, you observe and see how the feelings change, followed by the inhalation, exhalation. And according to that, how the sensation change, formations, that mean thoughts change. And according to that, how the recognition change. So again and again, go with it, and then little by little, you will go deeply with that understanding. So let's little bit practice, and only thing is be patient yourself and just do your best. That's it. So your right palm on your left, and neck it straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. And focus your mind to your body and scan head to toes 3 times. And say Supatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. And take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved true wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment. With this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we are spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, following the sensation of your inhalation, exhalation. So, in the beginning, bring your attention to the lower part of your body and observe any feeling, sensation, heat, tightness. Just get a mental note and bring your attention to lower back area. Don't interfere with your feelings, just get a mental note. Just give a trial yourself how to observe the pain. And your upper back and shoulders. And your arms, elbow, forearms, palms, fingers, fingertips. And your chest and your abdominal area. See if you can find any sensation, any feelings, tightness, heaviness, any heat. Be aware. And your neck and head area. And observe head to toes your whole body. And feel your whole body as one. And bring attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. Deeply and gently breathing, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalation, exhalation to happen itself. Just observe and recognize separately. This is inhalation, this is exhalation. If your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again. And observe the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. This is rising, this is falling. And some inhalation become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. Just get in details. Keep focus to the feelings arise, followed by the inhalation, exhalation in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And sometimes your whole body change and feel something different when the inhalation, exhalation happens. Let go all the informations, experience. Just observe the feelings and how it change. Bring attention to your body. Observe your posture. Cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through around your compound, your village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. And as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars, reminding yourself like this. So, with clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one, out of anger or ill will, wish anyone any harm. So expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Visualize yourself and send it as a light as far as you can. Forward to your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Upward and downward. to all 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, when it comes to this time period in our life, the time you are spending for this kind of practice is one of the great investment for your own life. As human being, then according to Buddhism, the highest experience that you can gain in your life is having the very clear ultimate, the awareness yourself. So when it comes to that, we look, we see in the world, the mostly we have desire to achieve to things. And really in Buddhism, our ultimate goal is the Nibbana. So when it comes to that, it is not a kind of achievement or you go towards that. It is kind of a result that come through you when you complete the journey yourself. And the main thing that you have to develop in this journey is the wisdom. Every day, through in every way, developing wisdom, seeing the truth. So that is the best, the profit that you gain. That is the best investment that you do in your life. See the reality. So why we have to see the reality especially? Why that what we see is why it is not real? So as you know, there's a eightfold path. So if there is a path, there should be a end. So when you go in this eightfold path, what is the end that you gain is you come out of the suffering. So this everything, it's kind of like the result of our own unsatisfied mind. This is a result of that all. Even in this very moment, what we experience also the same. Because if you are completely 100% clear and satisfied, you're not going to sit like this in front of your computer or phone or whatever the device you use. So there is something. Until we get into that ultimate level of completion, we keep going. It's worth. So in the journey, we have to understand few details, few informations. When it comes to Buddhism, what the Buddha talk about the life and what the Buddha talk about the nature. Because the thing, in the science and nowadays we see there are a lot of people looking for things, new things. And the Western world, that is the one of the best gift that gave to the Eastern culture. Because in the Eastern culture, that what the Buddha mentioned, the life is suffering. That's it. You cannot go beyond that. Four Noble Truth, its end. That's done. But in the Western, it's not like science. It's not the end. It's always have a question. It's always developing. So whatever the result they gain, they go to another. They go to another. So in the Western, they always have an analytical mind. They always analyze. But in the Eastern, recognition. So there is nothing to analyze, just the recognize. So when these two things come together, your practice is going to become perfect. Analyzing and recognizing. So what you have to analyze? Your own experience. Why? Because there are few things when it comes to the Buddha's teaching in day-to-day life. One is that all conditions, things impermanent. You cannot add anything to it. And you cannot take anything out of it. All conditions, things impermanent. Another thing is that all the dualistic things leads us to suffering. Oh, that's mean whatever you hold as good and what you divide as bad and nice and ugly, beautiful. So like that dualistic things. It's kind of like a perceptions that the perceived by that dualistic mind. Perception perceived by dualistic mind always leads you to pain. So that's the very nature of us. Another thing is that whatever how things appear is not the real. It is different. Whatever appear to us as something is not real. It is something else. So that when you able to become very clear with this, that the details, and that is what called wisdom. So what is the first one? All conditions, things impermanent. So once you very clearly understand that, that is one of the wisdom that you gain through your own mind. It is not because of believing, because of kind of like somebody said, or it is not because of something that you have to do because of the culture. It is you do by your own analytical mind and observing. And even other thing is that the Buddha never mentioned to believe something. And you never find in our culture, in Buddhism, that why we pray anything, that whatever we pray, and maybe you heard now there are our students here, we know like 10 years, 20, that the 12 years they are with us. And even anywhere in Buddhist world, that whatever the temples, we never pray thinking, may all living beings be Buddhists. We never say that. What we say, may all living beings be well and happy. So, because that the understanding this path, just believing it cannot go. Even just hearing these things, maybe for some people it doesn't work. Because you have to develop your own analytical mind. And what the Buddha means, without that, without analyzing yourself, don't even get the what the Buddha, its own teachings. It's giving you total 100% freedom. So then you have to look it and see what is this all conditioned thing impermanent. Did you find anything in your so far in this life something permanent? Have you experienced something? If you experience, go with it, please. If not, then start to look more deeply. And the other thing is this dualistic mind. We always dividing. In surface level we see, but we don't see there is a deeper interconnection, because it's relativity. It's kind of like the light you cannot see without darkness. But when you have the light, you don't care about darkness. So the good cannot exist without bad. But when you experience the good, you're clinging to that good. You don't think about the bad as a part of it. You hate the bad. So the winner cannot become a winner without a loser. But when you win, you don't care about loser. So like that, this dualistic mind, our perception always kind of like interfere with this dualistic mind. So it always leads us to kind of pain or the suffering. So that is one thing. Another thing is, one of the most important thing, that what is appear as something, it is not real. That's why we get into more and more difficulties in life. So those are the three things that you have to understand. When you're able to become very clear with this, that is what called the wisdom. In the very first level, you developing a very comfortable place for you to exist. Because if you have this wisdom to exist around you, you're never going to come to the point called suffering. Just get the example. All conditions, things impermanent. So in this very moment, you have life. And just think, maybe this is the last moment we're going to experience like this. And if you think, how about your husband, wife, children, and you have babies, and sometimes, so if you think as parents, maybe this is the last moment that you're going to be with this child. How compassion you have. And sometimes maybe that's why some people think this Buddhism is kind of like a very dull and always think about the negativity. So like that. But look at when you able to see very clearly what is reality, that is real. And how you can say it not going to happen like that? And how you know maybe this is your last moment? It is something very beautiful if you able to think like that way, because there are a lot of mistakes you take out of you. You become more completely different person. If you think maybe this is the last day I'm going to be here. How about when I wake up tomorrow, maybe in another place somewhere, in another planet. So then you become more vulnerable, and you appreciate yourself, the moment that you have. It is so, that is why when you come to the truth, it never going to take you to a dull place. Remember that. The truth, it's called Satyam Shivam Sundaram. That's one of the Eastern saying. It's always beautiful. The truth always beautiful. And it always protect you. So the wisdom also the same. The truth, when you come to the truth, it never going to be a very dull place. It make you more energized. It make you more awake person. So awaken means this. So the awareness means you understand that. So awareness, as you know, for the Buddha, we mentioned another way, the awakened one, the awareness. So the awareness is complete. It's not happening like this. So then awakened one. So the same thing with this practice, there is a moment come for you. It's not like you sleeping, wake up, sleeping, wake up. It's not like when something go wrong, you understand, oh, it is impermanent. And when something break down, you recognize, oh, this is the word. Then after that you hold it. No, you completely come to a point. All conditions, things impermanent. In that very moment, what is happening? That all the desires that you have to hold, clinging, you release. So otherwise, we are kind of like we always like cocoon. So we wrapped with something. What is that? This all the desires, greed, anger, hatred. That this everything is called life. So the awareness means you release that all. You come out of that all. So that is the ultimate goal of this Buddhism, the Buddha's teaching. That's why recognizing that all conditioned things impermanent release you from this all, release you from the cocoon, and you become kind of like a butterfly to fly. Otherwise, it always the fear, suffering, unsatisfaction. You have to deal with, no choice. So other thing is this dualistic mind, always it's tired and it creates the fear, unsatisfaction. So there is no end, but look at the world. The world always push us towards only one side and hide the other side from us. Even they not allow us to look. They always pushing us towards only the nice side, only the beauty. We cover all the ugliness. We don't like to see. We don't even for others, we're not allowed to see the ugliness. See, when somebody visitors come suddenly to your house, what you do? Hide everything, all the ugly things you hide here and there. No one can see. When they go back, it come back. So it's this dualistic mind always mentally. I just gave her that example from outside, but mentally the same thing happening. So that's why it always leads you to pain. And other thing is whatever appear, it's not going to be the same. So as example, it like this. The water that you see this year, It's this bottle drinkable now, this water here. And how about the same water? Now it is appear like this. The same water you see in a bathroom, and maybe you're not going to drink it. And the same water you see in the toilet, you're not going to use it the way like this. Even you don't want to hold it. And the same water you and me see like this. How about the fish going to experience this water like this? That for you and me, it is water like this, but for the fish, it's completely different. And how about for the scientists? And for the scientists, it's completely different. And maybe he can divide this, all the particles, and then what the scientific call for the water, called H2O, H2O. And you cannot go to market and ask, you cannot go to a place and ask, can you give me H2O? No. But you cannot say the water, it is not H2O. See, it's appear in a different form. And how about this same amount of water? Just imagine. It is in my hand now like this, but the same water, same amount of water, maybe with the same bottle. How about this go to another planet and Mars or maybe moon? So the same amount of water, if it is go there and stay there, and maybe other countries going to have a war to get it, and then it's entire human history going to change. See, the whatever appear to you, it's not it's not come in the through nature. It's going to be complete different according to the environment, according to the moment, and according to the situation, according to the place, and according to the point of view, and according to the point of reference. Things change. Once you understand that, you kind of like come out of the net. You come out of the clouds. The sky means not the cloud. When you go beyond the cloud, that is where the sky. So the recognition means when you come out of this all the tangles, this all the barriers, you release you. So the meditation leads us to that level in your life. So that is the main purpose when it comes to Vipassana level. So it is mainly little by little release you and bring the inherent wisdom. It is in you. There is nothing to put into you. You are already complete. You are already designed to attain to Nibbana. There is no human being that cannot attain to Nibbana. You are already designed to attain to Nibbana. Only thing is, you in your backpack, you have unnecessary things. You wrapped with the unnecessary thing related with the greed, hatred, and the delusion. There is no sutra, there is no article, there is no arguments that you can find. If anybody release all the greed, hatred, and the delusion, there is no way that somebody can tell that person cannot attain to enlightenment. Once you release the greed, hatred, and the delusion from yourself, you are completely awakened the wisdom. So it is inherent. So then rather than that looking something to become somebody, And remember to purify yourself. Release that what you carry, unnecessary things. That is a challenge in day-to-day life. That is a challenge. So for that, and you have to put the effort, because in the mostly, and this we focus to morality and discipline, so ethics like that. But in Buddhism, no, the wisdom is the highest. The morality, ethics, and the rituals come later. That all try to lead to that. But unfortunately, we stuck with that, all the other unnecessary, and we don't think about that inherent wisdom. So remember, there is something inside you. Because of these unnecessary things, you lose that. You lost the beauty, that really who you are inside you. You have to find it. So the vipassana is an art. Vipassana is a method that take you to that point to experience really who you are. So you know the very famous teacher in Western, Alan Watts, and he had a very beautiful story. The God, it's for children, but it is very good. One time God was felt kind of like a very lonely, dull, lazy. Then he was thinking to play, and then he looked here and there. He couldn't find anybody to play with him. Even in his form, he cannot go to just human and play. So what he did, for a moment, he forget his that this heavenly nature. He forget his God, and then that he tried to act like just not a God. And then he come to human world and start to go with the human, forgetting this his real heavenly nature. And then by the time what happened, like other human, he start to go and pray for the God. He forget himself, his own true nature. The same thing happened to you. Look yourself, take some time, make a just cup of tea or coffee, have a cookie next to you. Just sit a little bit and think what you lost in you, that you will see. If you don't look, you're never going to find, but you have to see that. The meditation is a place that we try to take. Otherwise, don't think that the practicing meditation, sitting straight, it's going to bring a wisdom. So, we just sit here 10-20 minutes. But look, there are some people like this straight, like military people, they can stay straight better than us. They are not going to get an enlightenment. So sitting straight, it's not nothing to do with enlightenment, but this practice will help you to develop the awareness little bit, to see what is happening. So then in day-to-day life, look yourself, give some time, just remember. Don't try to collect anymore, because already you have everything. Only thing, try to release yourself and try to be free, let go things. And rather than holding, looking for something, achieve to something, remember the art to release. That is where you're going to slowly, little by little, try to bring up real who you are. When the day come for you to recognize that really that who you are, that is the real awareness you're going to experience. That is the day we call awakened one. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi dīghāyuko bhava. Ettavata ca ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vaham hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.